Hello me lovelies, it's me Ned Natter and I'm here to chat down on the farm. I hope I'll get to brighten your day. Well, I proudly made it to me second season, and with a new year too. I love to gossip after a long day of taking care of things here on me Florida farm. It's great to be with you again, and thank you so much for your lovely comments and messages. Today I want to natter about a few things. Coping with age is one of them. Oh dear, yep. Before I run off though and tell you more, let's take a look round the farm, shall we? Ding dang, me farmhand is slow with most things, but worst of all slow on everything to do with farming and agriculture. Other than his phobia of taking his hands out of his pockets, he actually thinks a cereal crop is a box of cornflakes. Me campers are still here, and their tents stood up to some high winds, whilst they've had a frost on the inside and on the outside. Well, still they don't want to move, and they just rung in the new year with a few of their regular ravers. Yup, the leather-clad kind. They've built a little wooden structure kind of thing in the corner of me barn. Don't ask, the booze was flowing like a river, and the wife Elsie's had to go out and sew up another hole in their tent after one of them raucous arguments. And that's not the half of it, Quentin, the former actor, amateur rep I'm sure, but says he's listened to me show now on his new Apple phone. Yup, that's a man with strict priorities, isn't it? Living somewhere between a tent and a part of me barn. He can't do without the latest app. Well, he's now offering his services as a producer. Yep, that's right, a producer. But after spending years farming, I'm pretty used to producing. Only trouble is, there's a downside to food, aren't they? That's the shite. Yep. Anyway, my lovelies, you can just imagine the direction of the show, can't you, with someone like Quentin and, having the input. Oh, what with his colourful San Francisco friends, his ragdoll Pollux, his overwhelming, pink cravat. Oh, well, that's Quentin, of course, not the dog. For starters, me studio's too small, and it's bad enough having me tomcat young Charles at me feet, I'm thinking of changing his name, this year to Shadow. Yeah, he follows me everywhere, even at night. And then I get stuck in here sometimes with the odd broody hen, Young Charles, terrified of hens, Yeah. Seeing they're mostly taller than him and give him the evil eye. If he lays down, they think he's dead and get to work on him with their sharp beaks. The hens have got real bloodlust, Yep, nasty people when they get going. So poor old Charles, oh well, he usually ends up glued to a little space behind me equipment, and I end up with a combination of bad static as well as fleas and dander on my microphone. Added to that, when he starts doing that, that cat contortionate bit, oh dear, well, licking the smelly end, that is, kinds of weird noises. I never understand that move either, his breath, is bad enough. Start with that ass cleaning, it's hardly like to make any better, is it? Anyway, talking of cleaning, the wife, Elsie, decided the best way to bathe was to buy an above ground swimming pool. Yep, that's right. She don't fit in the normal sized bath indoors, see? So sure, she managed to get into it. No, it's got real high sides, so I lift her up with me farm forklift. Trouble is, me hens, they follow me everywhere, don't they, And once Elsie displaced, the water like a battleship, the hens got soaked. There's nothing worse, than mad wet hens. And then, when it was time to get her out, she couldn't get hold of anything. She was too slippery. So I had to cut an hole in the side of the pool, and the hens experienced their first tsunami. Followed fast by the wife. Oh dear. Not a pleasant sight, eh? Me best hens, they haven't laid eggs in days. They haven't even stepped outside, poor muckers. Just stayed in and plucked each other to near boldness. Then, with all the extra water flowing around the place, we had trouble with the septic tank. That's sort of a horrible thing, isn't it? Well, I called this guy to handle it, but Ding Dang wouldn't let him through the gate. See, he's fond of stating the obvious at the best of times. He's the kind of guy that would ask you if it hurt, when you chop your finger off. Yep, so the truck arrives at the farm gate, a big truck, with a white tank on the back and a load of shite-sucking pipes on the side. The guy gets out, he's covered from head to toe in the same stuff. He's wearing a t-shirt with the words Septic Service written right across it in big letters. And Ding Dang asks him what he wants and where he works. Oh dear, well, if I'd been in that guy's boots, I'd have told old Ding Dang I was from the dry cleaners and I was just having a bad day. It's like when you had the worst day ever and someone asks you, how are you today, the reply has to be a bit simple. Why don't you get comfortable while I read you my version of War and Peace? That's the way it goes, isn't it? The store's always the place for stupid statements too. Did you find everything you wanted? Well, then you answer with the word no. They look at you as you just farted real loud and smiled after. Then they just bark at you, plastic or paper. Even when it's pouring with rain, paper bags don't even survive the length of the parking lot, do they? Then they put just about your entire cartload in one big bag. Yep, pack the cans with your tomatoes if you like, and the glass bottles with the potatoes, and then use an entire bag for your little pack of gum. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Show, and when I'm not here you can find me and me shows at nednatter.com. On the subject of annoying things, I have a few pet hates, but one of me top ones, someone says 2 a.m. in the morning. I mean, it's never 2 a.m. in the afternoon, is it? Well, me lovelies, I've been getting some nice messages from you, me listeners, but from time to time I get an odd question too. So in this season I decided to feature them in my shows. The first one that came up arrived from a Montana farmer called Dismal Dave. He says he might be in the middle of nowhere, the back of beyond, the boonies, whatever, but he's still getting worried about the way he looks. Even the cattle are looking at him in a weird way. He says even the milk's turning a bit sour. He says he's got more than one mirror there on the farm, but even one in the barn, a full-length job. He says maybe I'm just vain, but I seem to be aging faster than ever. I mean, when I see the Hollywood actors, they never seem to age like me. As a farmer, Ned, maybe you folks have some ideas of your own. Well, Dismal Dave, thanks so much for your note. You might be a bit vain, but I understand how you feel, We all don't want to look that bad, do we? I can only natter about me own folks round here and my own experiences, but everyone has their own way of dealing with ageing and their looks. Of course, in Hollywood, they're pretty hung up on the plastic surgery, aren't they? And for one, I can't afford that. So, to make me less, me neck less baggy, I use a clothes peg. Right, put it behind me collar. Pull all that excess skin back out of sight. That seemed to work quite well. With the hair thing, I've just given up, to be honest. A lot of guys dye upstairs and shave down below. My trouble is, my hair's already dying. Yep, like last year's corn. I don't need to make it any worse now, do I? Anyway, me lovelies, as I said, round here everyone tries their own approach. Me old mum Nan is the worst of all. Oh dear, oh dear. She has her own ways of hiding her age. She used a lot of cling wrap, bandages and parcel tape. Yep, her version of anti-aging mostly comes from Walmart. She wraps the cling wrap around her saggy old neck and puts makeup on top of it. The bandages and parcel tape lift up everything that's gone south. Well, to be honest, she went south 24 years ago before I did, you know. And I'm talking about me trip down here to Florida, not me top half, you know, getting me near me bleeding socks. Elsie, the wife, has got a completely different outlook on aging. Yep, basically she does nothing at all. That's right, lets it all hang out without a care in the world. I'll tell you, if it hangs any lower, she'll be tripping over it soon. My old neighbour Rush is another one of them. Don't really do nothing, you know, he just keeps aging. But he's reached the point where he's just like one of them southern live oaks, weathered. Yep. He's just grey all year, not evergreen. Of course, Lonnie uses his blindness to great advantage. You know, me blind neighbour, see, he hasn't been able to look in a mirror for 20 years, so he's just not bothered at all. Then in stark contrast, I suppose, old Fred, me nudist neighbour, is another story altogether. He might be old, wrinkled, and I think he's left it all too late, but old Fred doesn't think anything is too late. He's in with a chance and doesn't have to bother with clothes, you know, designer labels, relevant on a nudist resort, aren't they? But see, he makes up for that in another way. He swears by a cocktail of designer drugs, all easily bought online. There's 4 main ones though: rejuvenation, hair loss, enhancement, and erectile dysfunction. Oh dear, there's not even an acronym for that lot, is there? Still, he's got it on recently with a married woman, and now he's been dating a really kinky woman, he tells me, from St. Pete. Well, why kinky? Well, Fred says she's into threesomes. That's St. Petersburg. No, she's a Floridian, not a Russian. Yep, that's St. Pete. At any rate, she's asthmatic, and that always means a threesome, he says. Yep, she isn't really kinky beyond that. Once she reaches orgasm, the other guy steps in. Yep, the doctor with an oxygen tank and breathing mask. Oh dear. Me lovely vegan neighbour, young Alice, doesn't have to think about aging yet, you know, but she's given up the dating scene, she told me, you know. See, she's sick of guys asking her where she gets her protein without meat. Well, maybe that's why she was on the dating site to begin with. Anyway, she reckons it's mostly fat and not much else. Far from a high protein for sure. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Show, and when I'm not here you can find me and me shows at nednatter.com. Me neighbour old Rush likes to chat about his favourite hot Fox News hosts. Yeah, and that's just the men. Anyway, he's always got something to say, and when I told him I was nattering about aging, he wasn't interested one bit. See, he's just got back the results from one of them online DNA tests. Rush set the trend round here, but it came back with some horrifying news for him. He's related to a large family of Massachusetts Democrats. Poor old Rush. We got together though round here and bought one for Ding Dang, me farmhand. See, Ding Dang is always telling us his real daddy is the mayor. Only trouble is Ding don't read much, see he can't. But last year there was an election and the new mayor is black. Yep. The DNA test tells us something unique too. It looks like Ding Dang has strong Neanderthal genes. But he usually wears the dollar store's own brand. Added to that, his gene pool is closer to a puddle. Yep, that's right, all his relatives live in a 1 mile radius. Or is it diameter? I can't be sure. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Show, and when I'm not here you can find me and me shows at nednatter.com. Me long lost relative Skip Natter decided to show up for New Year. He showed up to scrounge food and beg for a loan to see him through a lean January. Oh dear. And he bought 2 bottles of so-called champagne to celebrate the new year. See, I'm only a simple bloke, but even I know champagne comes from one region and it's in France. I've got a pretty good idea how to spell it too. Skip's had a label on it saying champagne. Yeah, a bit like him in the neck or ass, P-A-I-N. It was in the plain bottles too, saying product of Nigeria. Yeah, no pop, a funky smell, and not much fizz. Might be good as a weed killer though. Then there's Skip's new website. It says he accepts Bitcoin. Yep, that's why he's having a lean January. Hiding away from the consequence of his private version of cryptocurrency. I think I'm going to give him a dictionary this year, that way he can make a few more well-informed decisions, learning to spell might help. He has to stay on the farm. Trouble is, there'll be exactly trouble. Yep, he'll be passing off me eggs as rare GMO dinosaur eggs, or trying to sell me farm to 8 different buyers. He's no use round the farm, and added to that, I'd be waiting for a raid. It reminds me of when he was a little teenager. He was just the same, hadn't changed much. The story I remember is his grandma's lovely new plants. See, Grandma used to have lots of indoor plants in a kind of greenhouse, come conservatory thing. Then she started to get really excited about all these lovely new plants that sprung up amongst the ferns and geraniums. The seeds hadn't got there by accident though. See, old Skip had slipped them into the pots. Pot in the pots. The old dear was devastated when she came home one day, having asked a younger though still crooked Skip to water a little indoor garden. Skip had been in all right with the scissors and baggies, not the watering can. Whilst on a similar subject, that's right, comment, the agent 50% can't line me up a new ad this week. He's still on vacation. Yep, spending his percentage in the sun somewhere, I guess. Very nice. This is Ned Natter here with the Ned Natter Show. And when I'm not here, you can find me at nednatter.com. So instead of an ad, I need to tell you about me blind neighbour Lonnie's armadillo story. And believe me, it's close to a public health announcement. See, Lonnie's old friend Billy Ray was finally diagnosed with leprosy. Yep, that's right, leprosy. See, like Lonnie, he was a regular armadillo eater. Trouble is, he left the hospital doctor visit too late, and quite a few parts have already dropped off him. To quote Lonnie, he's not half the man he used to be. All I can say is one simple thing: say no to roadkill. Then there's Alice, me lovely neighbour. She stopped by the farm to give me something as a New Year gift. No, not quite what I'd hoped for. But she did give me a peck on the cheek. And before you ask, that's the one closer to me nose. But while she was here, she makes the mistake of telling me there's going to be a very special full moon soon. She says it's a good omen. But stupid old ding-dang overhears her. Shows her one right on the spot, a full moon. Before I got the chance to tell him to pull his pants back up, Elsie went into action. See, I just brought her a new air rifle, and she used it for the first time. And believe me, our Elsie's a perfect shot. No, not the rats this time, but old Ding Dang's having trouble sitting down now. This is Ned Natter, Show, and when I'm not here, you can find me at nednatter.com. By the way, I got a note in the mail this week. All these local shows at this nearby theatre, mostly they're these bands and people that do comeback shows. Well, I think sometimes people should hang up their act with dignity, call it a day, rather than come back 30 years later and think it's going to be all the same. It ain't. It's like me, calling up one of me 50-year-old neighbours and asking him over to play marbles. Yep, that's right, marbles. When you're 5 years old, it's great fun, isn't it? But when you're older, it means a lot of uncomfortable kneeling. Well, That's all, me lovelies. On that note, I'd better go and play with me marbles. So until next time, I'm Ned Natter. Just remember, farmers are getting older. It's time some new blood came down on the farm and gave us a hand. Shite matters. Without us, you wouldn't have anything to eat, and without me, your Wednesdays won't be much fun. In the meantime, you can find me and my shows at nednatter.com, along with them social media links. Come by and say hi. Thanks so much for listening. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I hope you'll come and join me on the Ned Natter Show again soon. So until next time, keep a smile on your face. Think positive. Don't sweat any of that small stuff. The grass is not always greener on the other side. It might just be a freeway. Goodbye, me lovelies.